Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Happy Thursday to all of my disruptors. Uh, Hope your day is getting off to a good start. Got another show today. A really touching and a show that it's a really touching show that I felt like it was necessary. Didn't have a lot of time to promote this show and to advertise it, but it's necessary. So I welcome everybody to the Pattern Disruption Podcast. This is the show where we break through the noise and we dive into the stories of those who shaken up the game. I'm your host, Eric Rhymes, and every week I bring you real, raw conversations with entrepreneurs, educators, entertainers, and all-around creatives who went from the shadows to the spotlight. So if you're ready to see what it takes to rise above the rest, you're in the right place. Let's break some patterns and start the show. So what's up, y'all? If you're new to the show, to the podcast, I want to welcome you. This is something that I do for people that are breaking the patterns of poverty, of pain, all those patterns that we get stuck in. We're creatures of habit. So we tend to get caught in that web of life. And for those who break through that, it takes a lot of effort. It takes focus and determination. So I like to highlight those people. Today, we have a show. We have a special guest. Her name is Sabrina Wakefield. This is somebody I met probably within the last 48 hours. But her story, this stuff comes to me, man, where I really can't say it's all divine. It's all divine because I didn't have anything scheduled. I met this young lady at it was in a party setting, and we started talking, and she really caught my attention, her story. And you just wouldn't know by looking at her that she's experienced all the things she's experienced, but she turned all of that negativity and all of that pain into power. So I want you guys to give a warm welcome, a warm disruptor welcome to Sabrina Wakefield.
Hey
What's up?
everybody.
Hey there. Hey
Good
there.
morning to you.
Yo, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, most definitely. You look beautiful as always.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you. I tried this morning.
YH8 Entertainment said, "Let's go, Bree." Jake Star.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
that's my Kingsman family. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they here tuning in. It's good to see that they here
And Anita
supporting me.
Simmons said, "Go, Bree. You got this."
Yes, and that's my
Jake,
best friend.
that's your best friend.
That's what I was telling you about this morning. Yeah, that's my best friend. We talked about the makeup situation
Oh
last
yeah, yeah.
night.
Well, welcome everybody to the show. I appreciate y'all being here. Make
Thank
sure
y'all
y'all
for joining.
subscribe.
Love you guys so much.
Oh yeah. So
Come
Sabrina,
on.
tell let the people know. I kind of did a brief introduction on you, but let the people know who you are and how did you get to this place where you are today.
Okay, who I am. Well, most people call me Bree. Um, and I basically Bree is the new me. Like I go by Sabrina when it's formal or it's like, something like that. But Bree is the more Sabrina 2.0, I guess.
Okay.
So I did a lot of work on myself to be able to say that though. It didn't it wasn't like an overnight thing. I've been Bree for years, but the new me is different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um, so and how I got to be where I am today is all the bull that I went through to get here. That's how I
Okay.
became who I am today. Every wrongdoing someone has done to me, whether it was adulthood or childhood, whatever, anything that I had to overcome trials, tribulations, strongholds, addiction, whatever it was, I wouldn't be who I am right now, sitting here with you today, if I wouldn't have went through all that stuff, you know.
Exactly,
So that's how
exactly.
I made it. And
So,
God, of course, because I wouldn't be nowhere if it wasn't for Him, for sure.
well, we are definitely glad that you made it. I hear your story and I don't even know where to start. But I guess one of the best places to start is at the beginning, which would be your childhood. So tell me the first time that you felt unwanted or like you weren't supposed to be here.
I'm sorry, I laughed at that because it was like the youngest part of me. I don't know. Unwanted. I mean, I was the only mixed kid growing up. So when I say that, I'm Native American and Hispanic. I have French, Dutch, German, Irish, Italian, all of that in me too. But I grew up with my mother's side of the family when I was younger before I was taken away. And they're all like fair skinned and blonde hair and blue eyes, references. And I was the only dark complected kid, whether I was the cousin or sibling, So um that was harder growing up like that. And then not only was I not accepted by my family, but it was like that's how I felt though. They could tell you all day, no, we love you so much, but this is how I felt as a kid. And my first reaction would be anger, but it was never anger that I was feeling. It was always whatever feeling that I was feeling. I didn't know how to express it. But um
So
yeah,
your nationality is what?
So my biological sperm donor is Native American and Mexican. Both of my grandparents are both Native American and Mexican. And my mother is Native American, Italian, French, Dutch, German, Irish. So I'm mostly Native and then like partially Mexican and then the rest is whatever else is sprinkled in on top.
Right. So a person meeting you would know that you were mixed with something, but especially black people wouldn't say that you were dark complected. So,
No. So
okay.
for me, it's crazy because for me, I have always been either I was too dark for the white crowd. Now, I ain't trying to, offend anyone, freely
No, you
speaking.
good. You good.
But this is how I was. Like, I was too dark for the white crowd, or too light for the dark crowd, or I were really Mexican for the Mexican crowd. Like I
Yeah.
just, I was too hood for the Mexican crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like, I got my nieces and nephews now, and a majority part of the generation underneath of me are all mixed. But
Okay.
me growing up, it was not a thing. Like I was mother's what's that word? Mother's favorite line was "You ain't shit but a mistake." And I'll be like, damn. Well, bitch, you don't want to have me. I'm sorry. You well,
Yeah.
why was that a mistake? I didn't ask to be here, and then I would say smart stuff like that to her, and then we go back and forth. But it started young. But my mother was in her addiction. My mother was not healthy. My mother, this is my biological mom because I have a
Yeah.
mom now, and this is my adopted mom. And this lady, besides my grandmother, um, she has been the only other person in my entire life that's loved me unconditionally and never tried to hurt me. That's my adopted mom. And then like the family that I have received through her and my sisters is like I would never feel that with my blood because I never felt that closeness before. Like I have a relationship with my mother now and we've talked about it like we've never had that mother-daughter connection like, you know, of
Yeah.
that you should have with a mother and a daughter, but now that I am older and I have done such extensive like self-healing without
Hmm.
their help or without them trying to like, no, don't think like that. No, that ain't what you're supposed to feel. That ain't what,
Yeah.
when I went through that, and I did that within the 10 years of me being incarcerated. I
Right.
went through my whole childhood and teen year. I didn't go to prison until 21. So I didn't start even my journey of healing until I was at least 25.
Yeah.
So I had lived with all of this pain, this trauma, these triggers, these things that I was dealing with. And I still deal with things. I ain't all the way completely, figure all out, everything. It's still a daily task. But I ain't where I used to be, that's for sure.
Right. So when I met you, I couldn't none of this came out. I couldn't see any remnants of any of this, right? We started talking and you told me that from at your early years between 5 and 8, you had already messed with like cigarettes and
Oh
uh,
yeah. Oh yeah. I was caught under my bed. Me and my little brother, we used to share a bunk bed. We shared a room when we were kids. And my mom caught me underneath the bunk bed smoking, putting the cigarettes out in the carpet under the bed at 4 years old. And then thereafter I started smoking marijuana and drinking and all of that.
how old were you then?
Um my well, I was smoking weed like I was smoking cigarettes because they were always like around in the ashtrays or whatever. But I smoked my first blunt when my biological sister came home. My half sister, when she came home, I have two older siblings that were adopted in a closed adoption before me and my little brother were even born. They were taken away when they were kids, and we didn't know nothing about them until she came home at 18.
Wow.
So
So you didn't even know you had
when
siblings.
she not them. I had other siblings. Like I had a sister Omaida, that my mom basically adopted when we were kids. So we grew up with her. And but as far as them, no, we didn't know nothing about it. And I was the kind of kid like, who who was that? Nah, that ain't my sister. I ain't call her no damn sister. You know.
You was
And
territorial.
I was very protected, overprotective when it came to my little brother. I don't come on, Bubba. We don't know her. Come on, let's go. Like we just I was different for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So you
And then
you start
10 was the drinking. When she came home, it was the smoking the weed. She smoked my first blunt with me, with her and her group of friends down at a park. I was like 8 years old. This was right before I got taken away. I was about I was probably like almost 9, maybe, I don't know, probably 8, some 9. And we were down there at the park, her and her friends, and they was passing the blunt along and passed it right on to me. I smoked the blunt with them and everything and couldn't stand up.
at 8.
Couldn't stand. I laid on the ground in the grass, just staring at the clouds like they. I, mm.
That's not funny, but
That's
you
not
just
funny. And I
you
threw up. Like it was bad. It was a terrible experience. I was not okay with it. And but
no.
I still kept doing it.
And where were you living at this time? What state?
We were actually living in a motel, Johnny's Motel up in White Cloud. My mother, she didn't have a place, so we stayed in a hotel. We stayed in campgrounds and tents and all kind of stuff as kids because we didn't really have it like that. So, like I was telling my sister, right now to this day, like right in this very moment, she literally has my nieces and nephews in a very stressful situation. And it's like people become there's two sets of people. Like when you go through traumas, when you go through messed up situations growing up or how you raised or whatever, that you either become the person that hurt you or you become the product of your environment, or you become the opposite and you despise those people and you try everything you can to make sure that it never happens again, right?
Yeah,
That's how her and I became. She's the person that continues the generational cycle, and I'm the person that's like, oh, the buck stops here. I'm Ain't no way in the world because I still don't have any children yet. I'll be 34 this year. But there's no way in the world I'm gonna have no child and then allow them to go through the system, or go through whatever I went through as a kid. There's no way in the world that I'm gonna do that, because I know what that felt like. But her, on the other hand, it's a whole nother
Yeah, no,
conversation.
no, that's major trauma, man.
Still don't like
So
her.
at 8 you go through that where you get high and you living in a motel, and
Yep.
your mother is on drugs, she's in addiction.
Yep.
Um,
I didn't really know back then what it was that, like, she didn't do it around us. I knew she um thanks, sis, I see that. I didn't really ask questions though. Like, I was okay with her being gone for days, or coming in the house and then we really still don't see her. Or the only thing, like, I can say this for sure, like, we didn't really have nothing in the cabinets or nothing like that, but like Thanksgiving or something would come around, or like Christmas or
yeah,
something like that, and she would make sure, whether it was toys for tots or the clothing closet, freaks club, whatever it was, like, she was still she when I grew up, I realized she loved us where she could, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
right,
She
right,
knew she really couldn't, but she still tried, even though she really didn't know how to try, really. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
she wasn't really the mom that would come in, oh, come give me a hug, I love you so much. It might be why I am the way that I am now. Like, I meet a stranger and be like, hey, how you doing? Come on, give me a hug, reach in for a hug. But it's just like, a part of me knows that though. Like, I didn't really grow up with that. My granny was the only person that loved on me like that. And my
And your
auntie,
and that's your granny, your adopted parents'
no,
grandma. Oh, this
no,
is your
my
biological.
granny. Yep, my granny is my mother's mother. She passed away 4 months after I got to prison. That lady that was my heart. That was my rock. That's who, you know, through
Yeah,
all of everything, like, I was her beautiful brown eyes. She didn't care that I was different than all her other grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Like, she loved me more because I was different type.
yeah.
So, I mean, I used to tease my cousins and my brother, like, I'm the favorite. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all look alike. I don't look like y'all. She loved me more.
So your siblings, they look what? They just blue eyes or
Very much so. My little brother will put you in the essence of like a rocker skater boy.
okay.
He's a welder, so he kind of grungy a little bit, but he's country. He done built his own monster. I'm so proud of my little brother too. But we look absolutely nothing alike. He's like punk rock skater, super
Yeah,
tiny physique with chiseled body, and I'm like, you've
yeah,
never even lifted a weight in your life. How?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but
So
and then super talented too. Like, even though I do see that in both of us, like, even though we went through a lot of stuff, the things that we were naturally given, like, by God, like, I swear all my talents were given by God. There's no way I could do what I do without him. And
amen.
him and I both have some very, like, very nice talents. I can say that. It didn't change that part of us.
Let me ask you this: when was the breaking point where you had to? Because you went in foster care at 8. What was the breaking point? Because the marijuana smoking when you got sick, that wasn't it, was it?
No, that just triggered something to keep on going.
Okay, so
uh the
what made you
breaking
get?
point, um well, see, I still struggle, honestly, but I had a lot, like, growing up. My first suicide attempt was 7 years old. So my breaking points are like sporadic at different times. The ones that I can remember, my breaking points, because I've had more than one suicide attempt. And I mean, I'm not proud to say that, but in those moments, um, it felt like the only way to save whatever stress or strain in my life I was going through, or whatever uh hurt I was causing the people that I love the most around me, the
Yeah.
only way that I could fix it and like make it stop, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Right.
So, now looking back, it's like, or even when I came to, um, it be those people that I think about first. Like,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if it really would have worked, they would have been so hurt. Like,
Yeah.
then you start thinking about oh my God, what if it would have really worked? Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine my mama, my adopted mom, I can't imagine her getting a phone call that I'm gone. Oh my God, I break her heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
No, that's real.
those moments, I'm so sorry. I'm such a crybaby. Y'all don't judge me now. Don't judge me, okay?
No, you good, man. For you to be here is a miracle. For you to be here is a miracle. They haven't heard the half of it yet. Um, but you go into foster care after a suicide attempt, after being with cigarettes, drugs, and addiction from your mother. You go into
Running away,
running
fighting.
away.
I was everything. Everything I was doing, that's what caused me to
Yeah,
get taken away.
that's what I was gonna ask you.
Like,
So why you staying in motels and you in tents? Are you going to school?
uh, when I felt like it, when I
Yeah.
didn't want to go to school, I would specifically go to school to fight somebody. I didn't care. I didn't care who it was. I didn't care if it was a teacher or a student or the nurse down the hall, the social worker. I didn't care. Like, when I had it in my mind, like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school today. I used to tell my
Anybody can get it.
mother, what? I used to
Yeah.
tell my mother, I can't wait till I turn 16 so I can drop out of school. Because back then it was legally you could drop out at this certain age or whatever. I can't wait till I'm 16 so I can drop out of school. You can't never tell me I gotta go to school. I remember those days. Like, I hated going to school, but my clothes were dirty or they were like grungy. I was
Yeah.
never like really, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really like going to school anyways, but the way that I learned different. Like, I was different. That's why when I say, when people be like, "Oh, my kid's so bad, my kid's so bad," kids are not bad. Kids are misunderstood. So when I was
Yeah.
a kid, people would try to like teach me things in school. I'm not dumb by far. I'm a very intelligent woman. Okay,
Yeah.
I just had to learn that I learned differently. I have a photographic memory, so me reading the book ain't gonna help me remember anything. I have to physically touch it, do it, learn it, understand it visually. I have to see it.
Yeah.
If I read it in a book, I can't read. I have no recognizance of that at all. And after I realized that, I was a straight A student. Straight A
Yeah.
student. In high school, my whole high school career, I never, if I got anything less than 100%, I'm at the teacher's desk. What can I do for extra credit? Ma'am,
Yeah.
you got a 98%. What's it? It's not 100 though.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, okay, you're doing too much. But that became a part of me because of how I used to be. Like, that, even just the eighth grade, getting to the eighth grade, that's when I started going to Grand Rapids public schools when I got moved to St. John's home. I was taken away and placed in emergency foster care, AWOL from there every day because I hated it. I wanted to go back to my granny's house. They took me and locked me up, put me in Eagle Village Assessment Center, locked me up. It's like it was like a mini jail for kids. Like, we walking around with black, blue, green, or gray t-shirts, sweatpants, joggers on. Every morning you gotta wake up and do boot camp before you even go to school. You go to school in the building because it's a locked facility and you around barbed wire fence and you ain't going nowhere.
How
It,
old
like,
are
in
you
order,
doing this?
that's when I first got. I was like 10.
Wow.
Like, just getting out of that foster home, they put me straight in Eagle Village Assessment Center, and I stayed there for a few months.
Yeah.
It's a level system. You got to get X amount of points in order to stay at a higher level. Oh, my favorite color is black, so I stayed at the highest level, which is mentorship, which is a black shirt, which is, you get more privileges. I ain't really care about the privileges. I just wanted the black shirt. But I don't judge me, y'all.
No, that's
So
real.
After that, they had a counselor come visit me there, um, from St. John's Home.
Hmm.
And that was a placement. Like, I had never really lived in a city before. Like, when I lived with my family, we lived in White Cloud or Alabama. Haleyville, Alabama ain't no dang old city. It's big June bugs and all that. It's country.
Yeah,
So when I moved to Grand Rapids, it was like culture shock for me, kind of. Because
because it
I
was
had went,
city.
yeah,
Yeah,
went from playing rock and roll and country and singing along on the jukebox with my granny to, oh, somebody just shot somebody down the street. Y'all better
yeah.
watch out now. And I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what? I actually kind of like this place. But it because my mind goes so fast. I feel like that my granny asked me all the time, "Can you please just come home, come home, come home?" This before I went to prison. Begged me because I moved to Detroit in 2010. Just come home, baby. Just come home. You ain't gotta pay no bills. I'll make sure you. No, granny, I can't come home. I can't come back up there. It's like too slow for me. Like my mind
Oh
raced
yeah,
too fast for like nothing to be happening. I gotta drive 72 miles to get to a grocery store, give or take. No, I'm good
yeah.
on that. Good on that.
So you go to you in Grand Rapids now. You in a different home at this point, right?
Yeah, that's the residential group home. Yep, St.
Yeah,
John's
yeah.
home.
Okay, tell
Yep,
me a
it was
little
a.
bit
It
about.
was like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because you were saying at some point you get molested in this. Was this before or after that?
No, that was like way before. That was like in my very young childhood years. Like, um, so the first time that it was seen, my babysitter, her boyfriend got caught in the bed with me. Um, I was like 4 years old.
Oh, God.
My mom's best friend daughter was my babysitter, Sarah. I love that lady. That was, you know, um, but her boyfriend ended up like staying on the couch and had me come out there, and I had on one of them like onesies that you zip up from the neck to the foot,
Yeah,
and I ain't have on nothing underneath of it. So he brought me out there, and I was underneath the covers, and he had my whole onesie unzipped, doing whatever, and they came in, like they walked in the house and seen that. I don't know whatever happened to him after that. I do know he did end up in prison for something, but um, it wasn't for me. I don't. It wasn't for me. And you know, my uncle was molesting me like my whole childhood. And finally, the day that I ended up saying something to my family, like I had told I remember. I remember this day like it was like yesterday.
Bree,
Huh?
hold that thought. I got this. Hold that thought. 1 second.
All right.
Okay, good. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, your camera went off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your camera went
Hold
off.
on. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to fix it. I told you my thing be janky sometimes.
No, we both had a technical difficulty at the same time. Listen, that's how
Is it
live
bad?
is.
Oh my god, I still can't see the. Oh, there it is.
No, there you
I'm
go.
like,
That's
I
how it
still
is.
can't see the camera.
You can't see. Oh, you good now?
I can see you now. I mean I can see me now. At first it was just a circle.
Okay. So what you were saying was they caught him. He went to prison for something else. He did. You don't know what happened to him
I
after that.
don't I don't know what happened to him. I just know that he got caught up. in the midst of that. So I didn't have to tell anybody, you know, in the sense of like, oh my God, this is happening to me. No, he got caught in the middle of doing it. So I didn't have to say
Oh,
nothing about
okay.
that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Like he
yeah.
got caught in the act.
Right.
So I never really had, I don't know what happened with him after that, really, for real. But like, I just know I never had to like be like, bring it out the dark, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is happening. But my uncle, he was my Aunt Donna's husband's brother. And he just would be at the house all the time. He was always at the house. And whenever he was and we showed up, guess who little old Sabrina had to go sit next to? So
How old were you then?
my whole all until
Oh,
I
so
was
this was
like
just
all in. Yeah,
yeah,
like he didn't stop after I said something because they didn't believe me when I told them I got my ass whooped. They told me that I was full of shit and I could ruin this man's life and how dare I say these things and whatever like that. So like I never said anything again about any other person after that, or any other thing that happened after that. I never spoke on it again because you ain't gonna whoop my ass for that because I wasn't lying.
right,
And after I was taken away and like I had came home on like a home visit. My nanny had passed away, my great grandmother, my mother's grandmother.
yeah,
Um, I had came home on a home visit and we went to my granny's house to visit afterwards. Like the staff had brought me because I was at St. John's home at that time.
right.
And this man, I walk in the house, I'm speaking to everybody. Mind you, I'm like 15. I don't remember any of these people. I don't know y'all for real. Like I ain't been around y'all since I was a kid. And a lot of my childhood I don't remember except for the major traumatic parts of my life. That's why like my mom be like, you don't remember we did? I don't remember that. Or
Yeah,
you don't remember when such and such used to live at the house with us? I don't remember that person at all in my life. Like I don't remember certain things because I feel like I disassociated so much from how I felt and all the stuff that I was going on. Like I intentionally forgot my childhood,
yeah.
which is kind of messed up, but that's how I went.
No,
But
that's yeah, no, that's I think that's normal for most kids, especially that went
it
through as
became
much as
how I
you
dealt
did.
with it.
Yeah,
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 so that moment was a turning point for me. That moment when I told my cousin Jonna, and that wasn't my favorite cousin. My favorite cousin was Amber, but I told her, and she was his favorite, or he was her favorite uncle, or whatever. So I shouldn't have told her anyways.
yeah,
But I was just so tired of it, and I was so scared, and I just jumped up and just ran back there in the back room to her, like, Jonna, he keep touching me, and I don't like it. It hurt. I don't like it. Whatever. Whatever I said to her in that moment, I remember telling her like, "This is what's happening." She's like, "What? Uh." So she made me tell my auntie. My Aunt Donna whooped my ass, sat me in the corner. And then
yeah,
when my mom came back, then I had to tell her come ass whoop again. And then it's just like I feel like from that moment of my life with my childhood, that was like my turning moment of trusting people though. Like I
yeah,
still to this day go through so many things and I won't tell nobody I'm going through nothing. Or like I look like this. And those be the days where I'm like really deeply thinking about going to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes to those moments of, well, I was traumatized. And in the early years of me trusting people who are supposed to protect me and love me and respect me and be there for me, and those moments were ripped away from me so quickly that even now to this day I still don't ask for help or reach out or tell people what I got going on or whatever like that. I got great people in my life now, like the Kingsman Project. That's just one of the nonprofits that I was working with since I've been home, and like I've just told the founder of that, like he called to check in on me, like, hey Bree, so we ain't heard from you in a while. Like, I just want you to know, like, we see that you ain't there. What's going on? And I'm like, honestly, I'm not okay. And I haven't told you guys because I just I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I'm working on it. Like, I didn't get this way. I'll be 34 this year. So it ain't gonna happen overnight. It took 34 years to be this way that I am. I can't all the traumas, I can't change them overnight, but I can't use them to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know? So
So after you get out of you leave the group home. Um, so foster care is over.
and go to foster care.
You go to
No,
foster care.
I never left the foster care system until I was 17 years old. 2 weeks before I walked across the stage, graduate high school, they emergency discharged me. And so from okay, so the stages of my residencies in the juvenile placements or whatever, it was emergency foster care, Eagle Village Assessment Center, St. John's Home, foster care, mentors, Muskegon River Youth Home, St. John's Home, Wedgwood, and then I was discharged and to the streets of wherever I was at. Grand Rapids is where I ended up.
Okay, so you're in Grand Rapids. You're 17. What's going on at that around that time?
I mean, I was lost, honestly. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I had just graduated high school. That was the only sense of identity that I had,
Yeah,
really, because I was in a group home. Like, it was weird. Like, I would go to like parent teacher conferences and we got some strange, you know, counselor person that's got to come in and stand in as a parent, like
yeah,
it just certain things just you
yeah,
just
yeah.
know. And
'Cause-
it's huh.
well, we kind of our foundation is our upbringing. That's kind of what we stand on as humans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all a reflection of how we were raised. And with your upbringing being so traumatizing, where do you find that level footing at? So when I say the word home, what comes to mind for you?
um my adopted mom.
Okay.
Now it's like when I say home, for like here, like Detroit, when I be like I'm going home, it's here. But when I say, like, if you say to me like where is home right now, I know it's there.
Is where Detroit?
My adopted mom,
Okay,
like
okay.
like I don't care what kind of what day it is. And I'm not the perfect kid. I'm telling you now, I'm grown now, but I'm still not a perfect
Right.
daughter for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got my attitude problems. I I got my habits. I got my
You're human. You're human.
yeah.
You're human. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
And I
all in
think
all, the thing is for me that makes it even better is like all in all, like regardless that she didn't like birth us, like she still treats us like we're her children. Like there's nobody in this world that can tell her that we aren't hers. You know?
yeah. So what about therapy along the way through all of this? Do you get therapy at any point?
It was one therapist that I talked to my entire I was a very rebellious child. I was very misunderstood. I was very misrepresented. I was very, you know, angry. I was stressed out. Whatever, but I was never understood.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really got why I was the way that I was.
Even after all of
So
your past, nobody got it. Yeah.
nobody still don't get it.
y-
So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
that's my purpose though. That's why I want to do what I dream of doing, which is going back to help those sad kids that go through those moments of being mistreated because they're misunderstood. If people could come and talk to children from a place of knowing what they going through, it's a different kind of feeling when you that kid looking at them like, damn, you want to do that, girl?
Yeah.
You can't imagine the look I get on kids' face when they find out I did 10 years in prison and that I was
Yeah.
a foster kid and that I grew up in residential group home facilities. Like I go up to the I haven't been in a while. Sorry, Najee, but we go up with steps to change up to Melvindale High School here in the surrounding Detroit area and talk to like the what folks would label as juvenile delinquents, or like
Yeah.
we try to be a positive reinforcement and mentorship to them when they hear that, this is what I've been through or whatever. They just like, they want to open up to me like, yeah, this is what I got going on. Um, you know, and
Yeah.
being in those predicaments, like even as a kid in residential group home facilities, like I have two aspects of life right now in two different perspectives. Like I grew up as in the system with broken and neglected and abused and mistreated and abandoned children. I was one of
Yeah.
them, right? Okay, this is where we grew up, right? Some of the deepest, darkest, most horrible, like horrific, horrendous, awful things have happened to some of these kids,
Yeah.
right? And some of them sad kids have came to me personally and told me their deepest, darkest secrets and the worst things that people have done to them. And I know for sure that they've never told another soul after that.
Right.
That makes me feel like they needed me in that moment to be able to, whatever it was, whether it was just me listening or just for them to get it off their chest because they couldn't bear that load no more. I love that someone can trust me enough to know that I do, believe in confidentiality. And if it means that you need to tell me your secrets so that it's not haunting you, I'm okay with that, you
Yeah.
know? So I went from that aspect to going to prison with these same sad folks that did the same disgusting, horrendous, whatever, horrific, acts to these children,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Now I'm bunking with these people. Now I'm in the child hall with these folks. I gotta go to work with these
Yeah.
people.
Yep. So from 17 to before you go to prison, what are you doing? So you graduate high school, you in Grand Rapids. What does life look like for you during this time?
Okay, so after I graduated high school, 2009, I moved to Detroit, February 14th, 2010, with my ex-fiance. When I moved here, I had my own house, my own car, everything situated on the east side of Detroit. Because I told him I'm not moving. I was 18 at the time. I said I'm not moving to Detroit and I don't have anything, to secure me. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally moving on a whim. I'm 18. I don't even really know you like that. So you about to move me to a whole nother city. Have you heard about Detroit, sir? That's what I said to him. I said, have you heard about Detroit?
Yeah.
And he laughed like that. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, you think I'm just about to up and move from Grand Rapids and move into the city with you and I don't even know you like that and I ain't got nothing to. I had a
Right.
house and car before I got here. So I moved here and he ended up going to prison a few months after I moved here for something that he was doing before I even knew him. So he ended up leaving and that like left me with nothing but him, his people, and what I knew with them.
Right.
So I had moved to a new city and I had no friends, I had no family, I had nothing but his people. So his people would stop by my house and like I don't have no kids or nothing. So it was always just me by myself. I always had dogs, but it was like what I'm about to just move to Detroit and live in his shadow because he's in prison and I can't go out and make no friends. No, that's not what's gonna happen. But anyways, when he ended up going to prison, right before he went to prison, we weren't together anymore because he put his hands on me. And
Okay.
but I had bonded him out, and I like went to all his court hearings, and I made sure that he went back and forth or whatever like that. And I
Yeah.
told him like, I'll make sure you get to your sentencing, but just not like we not in nothing.
Right.
Like, black my whole like it was a whole thing. So he ended up going to prison for 2 to 10 years, and that's when I was stuck in Detroit by myself. But like I said, I had my house, my car, and whatever. I started going to school. I was going to Kaplan Career Institute for computer support technician. I was doing hair and makeup on the side. Obviously, I've always done that. I love doing anything cosmetology, anything beauty, because I love making people feel good inside and
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
The favorite part about it is the end result when you're like, oh my God, it's so pretty. That's my favorite part.
Yep.
But then I was doing waitressing, like bartending, but and security down at the State Fair Lounge. I was working at the
Okay.
bar. And
Stay Fair Lounge.
yeah, I just
Hmm.
moving back and forth. I still had my house, I still had my car, I still was doing everything. Then I ended up getting enrolled in Wayne State University. Still no kids, still, still
Hmm. Taking care of
I
business.
skipped. Yeah, I skipped school one day to go braid somebody's hair. I skipped a class because I was only gonna skip that class. Skipped a class to go braid somebody's hair to make the gas money to go to class,
Yeah.
and ended up changing my entire life because that day that I went to braid his hair, the man I went to braid his hair, he ended up killing somebody in broad daylight. While I was there waiting on him to go braid his hair, and because I didn't stop it or try to help the man that was being hurt or try to um hinder him from being harmed or call the police or report it, or also, and I took him, the man that killed him, I took him from the scene of the crime. He jumped in my car with the pistol that he just killed somebody with after he was done and was like, take me where I need to go. Okay. What you thought I was gonna do?
Yeah.
So um at that time I was like 20, just turned 20. This was October 23rd, 2012. And around like 2:30 p.m., kids just getting out of school. It's the elementary school right across the street. And it changed my life.
Yeah.
At first I thought like, oh my God, my life is over. I'm 20 years old, never had, anything. I've never been able to live yet. I just got out the system at 17. The government has had their hand over my life. I went through a whole bunch of things in that
Yeah.
moment. Like, I can't catch a break. And, you know, when my attorney came to see me in there, like I spent 6 months in the county, like fighting what I was charged with. I was brought in on first degree premeditated murder charges for never leaving my vehicle. And
So,
every witness and everything in there says that like that light skinned black woman never left her vehicle. So
but because you didn't turn him in
right.
or
I
say
was still
something.
wrong. I was still
Yeah.
wrong. I can say that. Like that moment of my life haunted me forever. But what I had to realize is because it's my loyalty. Just because in my mind I came with this man, which was the dude I was going to braid his hair. In my mind, because I came with him, whatever he got going on, now I'm automatically involved in.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that loyalty though? Why
Yeah.
do you have to feel like you are subjected to be in danger or potentially harmed or killed because you want to act like be loyal? No, what loyalty is when you're loyal to someone, it's because you're loyal to someone who is also going to be loyal to you and they're never going to put you in harm's way or hurt you in any way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of people that you need to be loyal to, not to some thug out here trying to do whatever revenge on something that ain't got no business being done. Like
Yeah.
that's when I had to realize you need to recondition your mind. It's okay to be loyal. I'm loyal by default. It's a I used to think it was a character defect, but being loyal doesn't mean that I have to. lose who I am, lose my integrity because I didn't like seeing that man killed out in broad daylight. Like I'm a helper. I love helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that haunted me. That whole year after that. I didn't get arrested until November 4th, 2013. So from October 23rd, 2012 to November 4th, 2013, I was free. And I was afraid every day because I didn't know if the cops was coming or if old boy was coming. Because at the time he hadn't been arrested yet either. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, we from the hood. You see something, you might be next. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like tie up loose ends. Let's go get Bree. You know, but it never ended up happening that way. But I never told a soul. I didn't even tell my best friends or the people that I was living with or like Natalie and them didn't know nothing about it. And these were people that I was like close to.
Yeah.
And I never told anyone. Like, yeah, y'all, I actually seen some bad situations happen yesterday. No, dealt with it on my own. I kept it inside. And that really started dealing with me in a different kind of way. Like I was drinking so heavily, I didn't realize till I got to prison that I was a functional drunk. I was like
Yeah.
a functioning alcoholic. And it took me to go to prison and go to AA to realize that that was even a thing. Because I'm going to school, I'm going to these different jobs, I'm going this, I'm doing that, out here driving all day, got my license, got my, everything is legal, license, registration, all that. Yeah, I don't care. But I can't even tell you, I could probably give you 30 days out of that last year that I could remember fully
Yeah.
because I was so busy trying to forget what happened. I was trying to like really like pull that out of my mind.
So how did you eventually get caught?
They were building a case on us for sure that whole time. And when they went and arrested him, they arrested him on November 1st, I believe. And then they came and got me. But they had been looking for me since that day. They didn't ever catch up with me. It was US Marshals out to get me. And they
Did
basically
he tell who you were?
he didn't say nothing on my behalf or against me. He never said
Okay.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, as far as I know,
Yeah.
uh the people from the neighborhood I was in, they was telling me like he was trying to make it seem like he did it for me. And I was like, ain't no way. There's no way he could make it seem like that. But in my mind, it's like, well, was that his like defense? Like if I point the finger at him, he point the finger at me. Or like if the witnesses are saying, well, she never left her card, it was him and other, I don't know. Is it gonna what's that word? Create the doubt, reasonable doubt.
Oh yeah. 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 Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, maybe he did say that because he know it wasn't the truth. But if he could get people to believe it, like maybe he could
It
get
could
off
make him look
early.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he could get a lesser sentence or whatever. But he
Yeah.
did end up getting a hung jury on his first degree premeditated murder charges. But he had like 12 other charges on his, he got brought in on a million other things. He had, he had a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
The yeah, the premeditated murder, unlawful imprisonment, gun charges, felonious assault, unlawful imprisonment, torture. He had all kinds of stuff for things I didn't even see. I didn't even know about. Only thing I seen was him kill the man outside in broad daylight, chasing him in the hood. That's all I seen. Come
Yeah.
to find out, going to the prelim, when we sitting at this table together as co-defendants, this is when I find out the nitty gritty of it. When they bring out all the witnesses and all the evidence, I'm just as baffled and in awe as everybody else in the courtroom. Like, what?
Yeah.
He ain't never told me what he did in there. You know what I'm saying? He never said
Yeah.
nothing about what he had going on. I'm sitting in my car. So my lesson to kids now is like 30 seconds could change your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, 30
People say
seconds
that
could give you
people
30 years.
Yeah, people say that all the time, and it was just a video online that was going around about the guy in Chicago. There was a guy in Chicago who had dude is standing at the register. It's a girl in front of him. The lady she just got out the car to go buy some cigarettes. And I guess the guy in the car thought that he said something or he looked at her some kind of way, but he just jumped out the car, had some words, and shot him 8 times, killed him right there on the spot. And the lady actually hit the gas for a second as if she was going to pull off. And then she stopped. And that actually, I saw that the day before I met you. And then you told me your story. And I was like, so dang, that's,
That moment of hesitation is what gives them the probability of you knew what you was doing. Like, I had ample amount of time to leave. When I was sitting, I was basically in their eyes, I'm lying in wait, like waiting in regards to whatever's happening, So I had ample amount of time to pull off while he was in the house,
yeah,
or when he came out the house and I seen this man jump out of a trunk, I could have left in. Like, oh hell no, what's going on here? Am I let me see what's going on. Gonna circle the block and come back like, what's up,
yeah,
dummy? That moment was mm, well, now you know that there's something foul going on and you still trying to be the problem. So now you know that there's an issue and you still here. So you're just as guilty as the person that pulled the trigger because you're helping or hindering the process of someone getting away.
yeah. So I don't know if that lady got charged because I know they caught him and he's being charged, but I don't know. Um,
Well, I don't know about her, but in the moment of being scared and because it was on camera, her situation might be a little different. But in the eyes of what the attorneys and the people told me, the exact moment that I had time to leave and I hesitated and came back, that was the moment that they were able to charge me. Because if I would have left, they would have been like I had nothing to do with that. I left. I didn't know what was going on.
yeah. Now,
But
but now you got to
because I
deal with him.
stayed after I
Yeah,
seen what was happening, I stayed. Okay, come on, get in the car. Now you willingly became a participant of whatever it was after the fact. So now you're an accessory after the fact of the crime.
yeah. And but now you got to deal with him on the street.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. You left me on something like that. You know what I'm saying? That could go bad
Why
too.
would you pull off?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
you
yeah.
got going on?
Okay, so you go to
Another
trial or
reason why I stayed and circled the block. Yeah.
you went to trial or you had a plea?
No, I took my first plea. See, the thing was in the county where I was at, they got like what you call a murder rock. So it's like basically the rocks, the pods where like all the assaultive crimes are at. Murder,
Yeah,
armed robbery, stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, and almost every girl that was in there that like was fighting their case and didn't take their first plea either got natural life
yeah,
or a long indeterminate sentence. Like I think the youngest girl got like 19 to 30 some years for masterminding a robbery setup going bad and the guy got killed. And her first plea was like 6 years or
right.
like 8 years or something like that for to plead to it, plead guilty to it, and or plead guilty to whatever they were given. And she didn't take it.
Yeah,
So as I'm seeing that, like one of the girls, they 8 to 12, 10 to 15. One girl had 5 to 11 or something like that. These were weird numbers, right?
yeah,
And none of them took their plea. They second plea they came because they usually come back with three. If you don't take your first, they give you three pleas. That second plea they came back, all of them raised substantially. The five went to eight. The seven went to 12. It just was like, you mean you could have been out of here in 7 years and now you have no chance but to get to 12? Oh, what are
yeah,
you doing? Like, what are you doing? So when it got to me, my attorney came to see me, and mind you, I had just like turned 21. September 8th is my birthday, and I got arrested November 4th. And I didn't call nobody to ask no opinions. I didn't tell my granny that, anything was happening. Like, she knew I was in jail, but she didn't know that I was gonna be doing a long time like that. But she was going through her Alzheimer's and dementia. I didn't want to bother my family with that because it wasn't them that got me into it. I had been dealing with the system my whole life, so I felt like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever my attorney says is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So when he came to visit me and he told me, listen,
Court appointed.
court appointed pro bono attorney.
Okay.
So he technically is like an attorney that only takes cases up to a certain amount of money. And sometimes they take cases that will give them more
Yeah.
sites or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he took my case and he come in there and he says, Miss Wakefield, we know you didn't do it. I'm like, he said, well, here's the thing. We can go to trial and I'm gonna fight tooth and nail for you, put in every motion that I can. And you can beat this and go home like it never happened, right?
Yeah.
I said, okay. So what are we talking about then? He said, but then we could also go to trial and you get found guilty of something and you spend the rest of your life in prison. I said, well, that's black and white. There's no gray area there. What am I supposed to do with that? This either is or you ain't. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to? You dealing with my life here? We're not playing, hopscotch. Well, I'm not picking out a snack. This is life. Like, I can't. All right, yeah, let's gamble with yeah. We could go to trial, and then I get found guilty and go to prison for life. What? He's like, well, the gray area is your plea. I said, what is that? Because mind you, I hadn't really ever been in trouble before. I had an utter and a publishing charge when I had first turned 18 for cashing bad checks. They gave me heightened probation for that,
Yeah.
and I never went to jail for it. I just had to pay fines and restitution. And I still owe the restitution because by the time that my heightened probation was about to be over, it was like 2 weeks before the lady was about to, file my paperwork, and I ended up getting arrested and going to
Wow.
prison.
Hang on one second. So let me ask you this: has he already went to court and been charged at this point?
He
I
did not
mean,
get arrested until November 1st, 2013.
and they
Far as
caught
I
you,
know.
right. But what I'm saying is, well, he definitely ain't been convicted yet, but he is behind.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was still at the county. He was still down there at the
Yeah.
county.
So he hadn't
Yep.
went to trial yet or anything.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
We hadn't even been to the preliminary examinations and stuff yet.
Oh, you took, yeah. So you was straight. So they brought you in there.
No, after the preliminary examination is when I took the plea because that's when I found out all the extra
Oh
bullshit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right.
So he came to ask me and talk to me about some things beforehand, and I hadn't had a plea yet.
Okay.
And when he talked to me about that, he was like, so when they do give you a plea, I'll be back to talk to you, and then we can decide if you want to take it to trial or if you want to take a plea. And I'm like, okay. My preliminary examination was after that. And this is when I found out that all this extra stuff happened that I had no idea about. And that this man was really
Yeah,
very disturbing, you know. So
yeah,
I was like, if I go to trial, they're gonna try to make it seem like I was a part of that. And I was not a part of that. I had no idea.
yeah, yeah. No, I got
And so I took a plea. I took my first plea. They came to me with that first plea of 10 to 25 years for second degree murder. And I had to get on the stand and tell them my part of what I played in it and what I seen. So, yep, I got up there. They asked me. They basically they wanted me to get up there to paint me a bad person.
you. Yeah,
That's what it was. When you got to get on the stand and testify, right? To take your
yeah,
plea. The
yep,
testifying wasn't about him. The testifying was about how bad of a person that I am and how stupid I was to have stayed around for so long. And I knew he was up to no good because I saw this man jump out this trunk and then I chased him down and watched him get shot. It just, you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
made me,
And then the fact
they
that you were,
painted me a monster
yeah, and the fact that
to
you were on
take
the
the
run.
plea.
Yeah. And the fact that you were on the run.
Right.
Yeah.
That too. Um, so I found out I was actually visiting my granny when they actually started coming to look for us. When they arrested him, I was up north. I went to visit her because I just felt like it was coming soon.
Yeah.
So I went to visit her. And that was the last time I seen my granny alive
Wow.
was that day because she passed away 4 months after I got to prison. And I was in, after I got arrested November 2013, I never left until November 7th, 2023. So I never got a bond. After I got arrested, I never got back out till I was released from prison.
So you just got out of prison 2 years ago, about, give or take.
Yes. Yep.
Wow. So
Yep.
10 years
Thank
in
you,
prison,
Jesus.
10 years in prison as a 21-year-old. You walk in prison, I can't even
The,
imagine the way
the
I can
first thing,
imagine.
let me give you a visual of what you see when you get out that paddy wagon, okay? First of all, you shackled, right? Because you in transport. So you shackled, arms, belly, chain, feet, all that. Depending on the officer, you might not have to have the chain from the belly to the feet, but probably. So you get there, they pull into a fence. Like it's a big fence that open with razor wire, barbed wire all the way around it. And I just was looking like,
Yeah, I already know.
and when you get out the van, though, when you get out the van, you gotta walk through this long, like it might not even be that long, but when you in it feel like it's like the Green Mile. You gotta walk through this long tunnel of just barbed wire fence, razor wire fence to get into the building.
Yeah.
I just was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. But I tell you this, it didn't last long like that. The first conversation, the actual first real conversation that I had with somebody that had been there, she was sentenced with natural life in prison and she ended up getting out at like 48 years or something like that. The lady was getting out of prison on a resentencing. And I had went to the control center for something and she was up there being released. And I'm sitting there crying and whatever. And she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, you're leaving? She's like, yes, I'm getting out of she. I'm like, oh my God, that's all. I started crying. She's like, how much time you got? I said, oh, I got 10 years. Oh, God. Telling her my story, whatever. She like,
Yeah.
"Hmm? Did you hear what I just said? I got to do 10 to 25 years and I'm only 21 and oh my God, my life is over. She like, you'll be all right. And she told me hers and I just was like, I'm gonna shut my mouth because I ain't got nothing to talk about now. Like I felt like, how dare me ever say like my time was hard or like the time that I got sentenced to was too much. There's people sitting here with natural life for something they didn't do. Like it's people in here, people that I know for sure that were sentenced to a substantial amount of prison time, more than 30 years, whatever, for something that they did not do.
Yeah, they ain't even do it. Jay Carr said 3,650 days. They I know the feeling.
That's my best friend.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We definitely did them times, baby. We both did 10 years.
She did 10 years too.
Yep.
Is that where you
Yep.
met her at?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Well, shout out to you,
I was,
Jacob.
thank you so much. She definitely deserves it. Um, because like me personally, I couldn't imagine being Like when I went to prison, obviously, like I was so young, but you know, when I got there, I tell you right now, like I met some of the greatest people I've ever known in my entire life, prisoners and officers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They both have bad stigmas against them, and that's bold because they're all still human. And are there some very bad people in there? Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but some of them people ain't the same person they were when they committed that crime. You know what I mean? Some of them people, it was a battered and domestic mom, or it was a old school teacher later that was being beat on every day that snapped and cut her husband up. Like it's like it's things that people go through that shouldn't have been where they went, because in there are some of the greatest people I've ever known, and they'll never see the day light out here again.
Yeah.
And it's bold for me because I can say that I love them. I spent a whole decade with these people. They taught me how to actually be in prison. You know what I mean? Like some of those people, when I first got there, I was like a kid. So there was a lot of OGs that like took me under their wing. And like it was a lot of people, old timers, like that would teach you the ropes if you're willing to learn,
Yeah.
So like that's what I did. I hung with the lifers. Like that's what we call them in there. You know what I'm saying? We hung with the lifers, but really it's like we not they not just considered the lifers. They considered like the people that make the way of the prison. Like if you can sit down and have a conversation with a lifer that's been there 30 years and that still got more years to go, and if you have that conversation, their heart is one of the most humble hearts, one of the most like compassionate people that you could ever know. Like, and it could be somebody that was in there for murder, you know,
Yeah.
but you could never get that from their first conversation because of who they are now. Obviously this person went to prison at 17 years old and they're almost 69. They not the same person.
Right. So did you stay in the same prison the entire 10 years?
Yeah, there's only one women's facility in the entire state of Michigan. So Women here on Valley.
Okay. Okay.
Shout out to the Valley girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Allison Barnes said, I did 14, and honestly, the people I met there are the best people in my life. I've been having me since they've been having me since 2000. I don't know what that said, but and they still my best friends. Shout out to you, Allison. Um,
Man,
yeah, most
for
definitely.
sure. Like, cause two of my best friends have been my best friend um my entire being. And I know for sure I wouldn't have made it out without them. And both of them now have their degree. My best friend, J Car, she actually just got her master's degree. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? And
Congratulations.
right, thank you.
Congratulations.
And then my other best friend, she just got her bachelor's, and she, Jake got her bachelor's before she got her master's because that's how determined she was. We ain't just sitting around in there doing time and not really trying to figure it out. 2 weeks after I came home from prison for being gone for 10 years, I became a truck driver. I went to school, incarcerated. I went to vocational village, got my CDL, and was so determined when I came home that I didn't even sit around and wait for the state to help me pay for my license because you got to get all that stuff over again when you be gone for
Yeah.
too long. I was gone for more than 4 years, so I had to retake my regular driver's license all over again. Not
Yeah.
because nothing bad happened to my driver's license, but because they needed to make sure that I still knew the way of the world.
Yeah.
Whole decade.
Kind of hold your camera still. It's shaking a lot.
I'm sorry, that is King. I have a service animal and he does not allow, he's like
Oh,
literally
yeah,
right
yeah, yeah.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um
Shout
my
out to him.
apologies.
Where
Right.
let's do this. So you doing this time? Who's doing this time with you? Because that's really important to have people on the outside that's sending you care packages and writing you
I
letters
didn't
and
have none of that. I ain't have that. I didn't have that. Um, I took care of myself in prison. Like besides like me being in there and like hustling or they ain't supposed to, but we do each other boxes in there. Like say my homegirl, she need a couple dollars this month, and these are just for instance, you know. Um my homegirl, she need a couple dollars, but I need a couple extra snacks, for that cook up we got going on this week. Hey, I'm gonna do your box. These are just hypotheticals. I'm gonna do your box, and then we're gonna split it, and you gonna get this much amount of money out of this box, and you gonna give me this much, and that's how we gonna work that, okay? And that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. Or with me in there, I was doing hair and makeup, for people visits or for call outs or their girlfriends or whatever.
yeah,
But I was like the hobby craft person. So not only did I do things for the units and like decorate the boards and like make the unit pretty, but I did all of the hobby craft stuff for people. So the cards, the birthday cards, the anniversary cards, stuff like that, we would send home, or like poster, canvases we paint, or
yeah,
socks and t-shirt, hobby craft stuff, arts and crafts. I'm very artistic when it comes to stuff like that. Sketches, paintings, whatever. Like I was the go-to person for anything hobby craft.
yeah,
So I made it work. When I first got there and I really didn't know my way around, like I was washing people laundry and ironing clothes for a living. Like to be able to maintain, because I knew dang on well I couldn't eat that chow hall food, because the way that made me feel, I couldn't do it. So I need to make sure I can eat some commissary in my locker, because I'm not going to that chow hall and eat nothing out of that kitchen. So
wow,
I started becoming you. I'm a chameleon. I've been starting over my whole life. Okay,
yeah,
group home, foster care, residential facilities, schools, whatever. The only school I ever stayed at my whole school career was high school. That was only 4 years of my graduate, like
yeah.
my grade school. Like 4 years out of 12, you only stayed in one spot. That's crazy. So prison was the longest place I ever been.
Oh wow, yeah,
Like in
yeah,
my whole life, if you look at it, like I was taken away from my biological family at 8. And I moved, any place that I ever went to after that was months or a couple of years at best, back and forth, bouncing back and whatever. Prison was the only place that I've ever been stable,
wow,
and the longest place that I've ever been healthy, because not only was I like physically working out and stuff like that, I was working on me. I was working on the things that I had never thought about even thinking about working on. Because I never did talk to no counselors and therapists. I feel like therapists are there, counselors are there to help you understand your own solutions that you came up with on your own. I got
yeah,
people for that. I got
yeah.
people for that. Best friends with masters and college degrees that can help me with that. I don't need to go pay no therapist to help me with that.
Mm,
But therapy, in a different sense, became, I found my therapy in other places. I don't
yeah.
find my therapy in talking to people. I find my therapy in music and in art and un-
Animals.
unfor- unfortunately cleaning and animals. Yes, very much so animals.
Yeah,
I just, my therapy is what makes me happy, and whatever that may be, whether it's me doing my own hair, makeup, my nails, looking cute, whatever, that's therapy for me. Just to sit in the bathroom and do my makeup for an hour and come out looking the same way, to me it's not the look after, it's like the me focusing on one thing at a time.
okay,
That's what becomes therapeutic. When I'm drawing, I'm focused on what this is right now.
yeah,
My mind is a tornado a majority part of the day. It's like a spiraling twister inside of my head with racing thoughts that never go away. So
Yeah.
when I focus that and pinpoint it onto something, like if I get so pencil focused in on whatever I'm doing because I'm like a perfectionist too. So now I gotta be like zoomed in order to because it gotta be perfect. So now I'm not even thinking about whatever's in my head. I'm thinking about what's right here in front of
Yeah.
me.
So yeah.
So that becomes my like my zen because then I'm able to recenter myself back into what's right now. Okay. And then I
Yeah.
come back and I be like, you know what? Whatever that was, I can't do nothing about it right this second. So let me focus on what this is, and then we're gonna worry about that later.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh
And
yeah.
God helped me through it. In
Yeah.
2018,
Go ahead. No, I'm
what she
listening.
say?
She said we used our creativity and thirst to learn to replace negativity around us.
Cause period.
Yeah. What
Definitely
happened
did.
in 2018?
Oh, so in 2018, I actually hung myself in the prison. And sorry, I kind of choked on that. I don't
No, take your time, man.
really talk about it often. And in that moment, it was like, damn, you so close. 2018, I was already done with having my time. I had been there since 2013. That was 5 years, literally. I still had 5 years left to go, and it felt like it was never ending. It
Yeah.
felt like so in that moment I was telling you a little bit about 2018 because this was back to you saying like who was there for you,
Yeah.
right? So nobody was there for me. My granny was there for me and she passed away 4 months after I got there. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to go to her funeral. I thought I was gonna die then. When the administration told me, oh, this person is gone, I thought I died right there. As
Yeah.
soon as he said it came out of his mouth, I was like, and dropped to the floor. But being that as it may, like I never people from the outside looking in could never go and be like, oh, she ain't got nobody helping her. She ain't got nothing. I always had everything. Whether I wanted it or needed it or didn't of either, I still had it just cause.
Yeah.
And being in that environment, not even just in prison, in the institutional environment, because being in group home, foster care, residential facilities, juvenile detention centers, to me, being in all those different places and being able to look back right now, they all got the same shit going on.
Yeah.
It's like them juvenile detention centers, them group home facilities, those places were molding me to go to prison.
Okay.
And then I became that statistic that they used to beat in our head. Like they used to tell us all the time, well, you ain't gonna be shit. You gonna end up on drugs, you gonna end up in prison, you gonna end up dead, you gonna end up with a million kids, you gonna end up well hell, you gonna end up on the streets. You ain't even gonna end up nowhere. You just gonna end up on the street. Like that's how they looked at us. Like you ain't gonna have no kids because you gonna be the did something to them. Like it just that's how they were. And then I did become that statistic. Like you're never gonna graduate from high school. You gonna drop out of school. You know what I'm saying? Like they just immediately you become this. You're that. Okay, now you're this. No, no, I'm not. I'm not a mistake. I'm not I'm not trash. I'm not a throwaway. I'm still loved. I deserve the best. I am worth it. Like these are things that I had to
Yeah.
change in my own mind. I had to recondition myself because I was so used to not just the system, but the people that were around me that were supposed to love me, continually badgering me, putting me down. And my aunt nicknamed me Beaner Baby when I was born. Do you know what that means?
I don't.
Okay. Beaner is a racial slur to Mexicans,
Oh. Wow.
like spick or wetback or nigga.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I had just got to St. John's home. when they told me what beaner was, because I was in the volleyball team in school, and I had got beaner baby across my hoodie in the on my uniform
So you kind of
because that was my nickname.
you didn't know what it meant then.
No, I
Oh
didn't
God.
know what it meant. And when I'm in this group home, I'm wearing my hoodie around the house at the group home. And the guy that I ended up calling my dad, he was like one of our he was the male counselor of the house that we lived in. So he's looking. I'm like, why are you staring at me? And he like, what
You
does your
looking
hoodie say? He like literally, I'm coming in from school or something, and I go into the kitchen, get some whatever out the fridge, and I'm like, why are you staring at me? He like, what does that say? And I pull up my hood, like, trying to be, oh, it's my new hoodie, for volleyball. He like, Beaner, baby. Why does it say that? I'm like, that's my nickname. Mm-mm.
wow.
No, it's not. No, it ain't your nickname. And we're gonna stop that right now. And then he told me what it was. Mind you, this is a black man that works at St. John's Home that I call dad. This is who was my father growing up. A counselor man that work in the group home. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I never got adopted out. I never went into a family. I never was a part of anyone's actual family. I was always just in the system.
Yeah.
So those were my family. Those people were my family. So like when I got sisters and brothers, those are my foster sisters and brothers. But I don't look at them like they're any less of my brother and sister because we went through some shit that nobody else would ever know about or nobody else could ever fathom or feel. So
Yeah.
I still look at them like these are my real brothers and sisters, like for
Yeah.
sure. And it broke my heart. I think I was definitely embarrassed. I was 13, 12, 13 or something like that. One of them ages where you just like everything makes you sensitive. Oh my God, I can't believe my social life is over.
Yeah.
But I was already that emo kid. Like I always wore all black. I mean, I still do wear all black. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
it was different then. Back then all black was like I, I shopped at Hot Topic and Spencer's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I had like a bunch of necklaces and bracelets and all the, big old I used to wear like gauges in my ears and like, like all of that.
Expressing yourself.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I still rock it. I still go to Spencer's and Hot Topic. And I don't care who look at me crazy. But when I found out that that's what that was, and she looked at it like a word of endearment to me, like you nicknamed me Beaner, bitch, because I'm the only Mexican in the family. You like I called her after he told me what it was. I was crying and everything. Like I couldn't believe that I did that. I had wore that hoodie around school all day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people probably like, what's wrong with her? You know what I mean? Like I called her and went off. Like, how dare you nickname me that? And then I didn't know what it was because I grew up with a white family. So they
Yeah.
obviously laughing and joking about it anyways because they know what it means. They
Yeah.
know they don't give a fuck about me. So that's why I said in the beginning, like when I was younger, it was like I was too dark for the white crowd, I was too light for the dark crowd, and I was too hood for the Mexicans. So it was like
Yeah.
I'm my own me. I just fit in wherever I go.
So where I met you at, so we were at a party. It's black folks doing, it was girl birthday and then you walk
It's
in
definitely a time.
and I'm looking like, so all I see, I'm like this so I notice you. I say this white lady here um with all these black people. and she fitting right in. And I say so, but once we meet and we talk, obviously that's the reason why I wanted to do this, because your story is just crazy. So you go through all of this, you don't give up. It has some times where some close calls, and you say that in 2018 you almost didn't make it.
Out
Um,
of that place.
yeah, yeah. So you,
And to go from, I'm sorry y'all for moving the camera, but to go from windows you can't see out of and cement concrete blocks as your walls to this every day.
yeah, yep,
I just want y'all to just take a 10
yep,
years of
10 years.
like cylinder blocks and like windows you can't look out of.
Oh yeah,
And it look kind of gloomy outside right now, but to me it's still beautiful because like look at that scene though. Look at how green them trees are. Like people don't even realize the beauty that we have, that we hold in our eyesight every single day. Like just look next time you walk outside. Just look at how green the trees got within the last week. Last week we ain't had no buds on the trees. You know what I mean? Like if
yeah,
you look and pay attention to the beauty and the blessings that you have in every day that you wake up, every moment that you have. That's my whole thing because when I got ripped away from everything that I had already reestablished, and then now I gotta reestablish myself all over again. I just feel like, you know what? I've done it how many times? I just
yeah,
told you I ain't never been stable my whole childhood. I never been in one place. So I basically this is what I'm built for. I'm built to, let's just start over.
yeah.
Okay,
But
let's just do it again.
yeah, and that's what this is about. Pattern disruption is changing that pattern where we're not starting over. Um, we definitely, because that's why I wanted to get your story out, because one thing I notice about people who go to prison and come out, they tend to have more urgency than us. Like you didn't came out and lapped people in 2 years.
We have a different kind of fire, a
Yeah.
different kind of
What
motivation. And
what
I
what,
say
what is that?
we,
What is that?
the motivation is we have something to prove. We've been gone for so long, even if it's somebody that's been gone for a couple of years. But if you find somebody who has done more than 5 years, more or close to 10 years, they are a completely different person. And if they're not, they didn't want to change. But
Yeah.
I tell you this, the people that I was around, the people that I mean, I did have my mess ups, my flukes. I had girlfriends. I fought in there. I was on dumb things. My first 5 years, I had tickets galore. But my last 5 years, I didn't catch one ticket.
Yeah.
My last 5 years, I was on the complete straight and narrow. But it was because I had already started my healing process. My first 5 years of prison, I was still angry. I lost my granny 4 months. I was still in close custody. 9 months in a day. Locked down 23 hours a day. I literally thought I was gonna lose my mind.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even fathom waking up the next day. I couldn't. So if you any person that ever has met someone has done a long substantial amount of time, they have a different kind of motivation behind them because they lost so much and they have a point to prove. Not just to anybody else, but to themselves. Like, you got this.
Yeah.
Like, and if you forgot about it, let me tell you something again. You made it through that, you better get your behind up and go out there and get it together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
right now, to this day, I came home 2 weeks after I got out of prison. I went, got my license, paid for everything myself. I saved up my own money in my account in prison, $1,240. You can only have a certain amount before they start taking rent for your money. Saved up my own money in my account so that way I could take money with me home. So I could have money to have my needs met or whatever. So I had to pay for my
Yeah.
driver's license, my car, my all the stuff. But I had to have a plan for myself because the determination that I had to make it was was more than somebody who's never been through something they don't know, or somebody who's always given something, or somebody with what they say of white privilege, and they you don't have to worry about if you go apply to a job, will they or will they not hire you? You know you're gonna get hired. Like, I knew I was up for a challenge. I knew this was not gonna be easy. I've been the black sheep my whole life. I've been the ugly duckling, the whatever, however you want to look at it. I've been the outcast, the whatever. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm not gonna use what I've been through as like something negative, because I know everything, every part of my life, whether it was being molested, being beat on, being neglected, being whatever, abandoned, whatever it was, the things that I went through, getting into relationships as I got older, being in abusive relationships with men, being, all the things, whatever it was I've been through, every lesson that I've been through in life. I wouldn't be who I am if I wouldn't have been through every bad day that I've had, every hardship, every trial, every tribulation. I would not be who I am
Right.
now. I wouldn't be able to make it through my bad days that I have now. Because if I was still the same person I was then, I'd still be trying to kill myself every chance I got. Because I
Yeah.
wouldn't be as strong as I am today from going through the things that I've been through already. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
sounds bad to say it like that, but now I have to use my story to help them kids that are going through that same thing. Baby, it's not too late. And it's not like it does get greater later. People say it all the time. I used to be so mad. Well, I don't want to hear that shit. It get greater later. Well, what I'm gonna do with that now? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was the kind of kid that I don't want to hear what you think gonna happen. I need result. I need to see it. I need tangible experience. Cause I don't believe you. I don't trust nobody. So whatever you telling me, I don't believe it.
Wow. Listen, you you are definitely not alone. We all go through what we go through, but your story at 35 and starting off the way it started, and then going from what you went through to even being in your right mind is
I praise
amazing.
God for
God
that
is
every
good.
day.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. God is good. Um, so you leave prison. What is that last day when you walking out? What is that like?
What? I don't even think I slept that night before I left. Like, I was already in prison 2 days after my earliest release date. So I was supposed to be released November 5th, 2023. And
I know
because
that.
that day fell on a Sunday, I was forced to stay until that Tuesday, which was 2 days later.
Yep.
So I got out on November 7th.
When you
And I
sent me
just was
that, I was
like,
gonna ask you because you went in on the 5th of November 2013, and then when you sent it to me, it was November 7th, 2023. I was like, what's these two this odd days for?
see, because if it would have been election year, I wouldn't have been able to leave on that day anyways, because it would have been election day.
Yes.
But whatever. I was like, 2 days ain't gonna do nothing to me. I just did 10 years. I mean, whatever. But that last day,
Shay said, "You
like,
beautiful, huh?"
thank you so much. Don't mind King. I don't know what he hears. I'm sorry, Baba. Um, but that last day, like, I had got up real early, got in the shower, did my hair. My hair was down all the way down my back. It was like literally touching my behind when I walked out the prison. And it was so healthy. I just remember it took so long for me to straighten it. And I just like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm hot already. I'm ready to go. I can't do. I'm like, "Ugh." And then they called my name. And I couldn't breathe. The whole walk over to the control center. I couldn't, I was just like, because we gotta stop. You gotta stop at the it's called the quartermaster, which is basically like the clothing place where you get all your state clothing from. And you got to stop there and turn all your your state property back in
Hmm.
before you leave. On our way to the quartermaster, literally in front of the child hall, it was like a group of people. I came out of the building that I was working at, the vocational village building where I was doing my CVL. I had ran in there to say bye to my boss and stuff. I came out the building and the cart with all our property on it, literally, it was like so many people, like officers, inmates, everybody was surrounded, like because it was like three or four of us that were leaving at the same time on the same cart. And most of them was out there for me and my homegirl. We both left together, and I just was like, this right here, seeing that I impacted, I'm sure I definitely know I impacted way more than that because it's like 2,500 people in that place. But it's those people in there like really did love me, and I really did become a light for them. I recall walking up the walkways, and some of these girls, I was in the church in there, I was in the choir and stuff like that. I was a very uh avid person in the prison, like, so I I would be walking on my way somewhere to a call out or something, and somebody would stop me and be like, Bree, can you please just pray with me, please? Or matter of fact, they'd be, can you pray for me? No. What, come on, let's pray right now. What you gotta wait for? Come on, let's pray. But for them to come to me and feel like that energy, because I honestly, I'm funny about who I want to pray over me, because I don't know your intentions, or I need to make sure that your intentions are pure, because when you pray for me, I need it to be a blessing and not a curse.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm very, I don't know, but for somebody to feel that for me, I'm honored that you would find that light and that peace in me, and you can hear my prayers and feel it in your heart, to know that what I'm saying and how I'm feeling and what I'm praying for you is genuine. You know what I mean? I love being a prayer warrior, intercessor for those people who really didn't know the words, because I remember being that person.
Yeah.
I remember not knowing, like, did God even love me? Like, was I not just my mom's mistake? Was I his mistake too? Like, was I not supposed to be here? Like, I remember those feelings. Like, I remember feeling like,
Mm.
am I really just like supposed to give up? Like, nothing is ever gonna be right. So why do I keep trying? Like, every time I try something new, every time I do something better, every time I love somebody, or every time, these were my thoughts. Like, when I was a kid, like, am I just my mother's mistake, or did God just be like, fuck you too?
Yeah.
So I went through a phase in my life where I was like, God, who is that? What is that? And now when people use the word GD, I be like, watch your mouth. Don't be saying the Lord's name in vain. They be like, girl. I'm like, what? But to me, it was like that moment of, you have to be that person that you needed. That's what for me, I feel like that. I
No.
need to be that person that I needed when I was that little girl. And I know there's so many kids out. Kids love me. All the kids. Oh my God, the kids love me. I pull up at the hood, and I lay to sister. I pull up in the hood, and all the kids run to my car and be like, Auntie Bree, can you take us to the park, please? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it's okay with your mom and your daddy, we can go. I don't care. We already asked them. They said okay. And I'm like, okay, well, shit. Boy, let's go then. And I take all the kids with me. We all gone. Let's go. And I tell them before we get to, listen here. Auntie Bree love y'all. Y'all know that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you love me, I love you. You respect me, I respect you. But if anybody touch you or talk to you crazy or make you feel away, you better come tell your Auntie Bree, okay?
Yeah.
All right. And I look at them just like that, so serious, because I want them to know that I'm very serious, but I care. I want them to hear me. Anybody ever, anything, are you with me? Please don't hesitate.
Yeah.
because I guarantee you they'll be dealt with that day. You know, but I don't think 8 to 80, 8 to 88 when it comes to the kids.
Yeah.
Don't mess with my kids. And I've never birthed a child in my life. But when I got the kids, don't you mess with my kids.
Yeah.
You know, because I just, and even if I'm walking out in public and I see something happening to a stranger's child, that's how I feel. Like, do not. I don't play. I don't play when it comes to the kids. Like, for sure. Because I know what it felt like to be that child that folks didn't really even see. Like,
Yeah. It's a guy on the internet and he talks about one of his mantras is and I can't think of his name right now, and I used to follow him. But he said, become the person that you needed when you were growing up. Become that person. Become that
yeah.
person. And
And I say become the change that you want to see in this world.
yeah.
And I want to be that change. I want to be able to help that. And Shay, I see this comment down here. Well, welcome home. However long it's been that you've been home, and even though you didn't catch the whole story, it don't matter. Just know you not in this alone. It's definitely been hard since I've been here. Like yeah, I became a truck driver. I live in a high rise apartment downtown. I got a brand new truck sitting outside. You know, I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
Okay. I still like people think because I'm a truck driver, I got a bunch of money. No, I live in my money. So once I pay my bills, I have nothing left for extra anything.
Yeah. You
You
say
know
I
what I'm
live I
saying?
live in my money.
I do. Like I pay my bills and that's it. I don't have no money for no clubbing, no we going out to the restaurant and parlaying. I'm not doing none of that. I work and then I come enjoy my electricity and my utilities.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I save my gas when I need to go back to
Mhm.
work. So it's like honestly, for a long time, I had came off the road. I was doing 3 weeks out, 3 days in, only over the road. And um
Right
when I was
back to you,
doing the
Shay.
three when I was doing the 3 weeks out, 3 days in, I felt like I was in segregation. I felt like I was in seg because I was tethered to a bunk. This truck that I'm driving has a bunk bed in the back. I got a refrigerator. I got, my music. I got my dog. I got whatever I need in this truck, right? It's basically a rolling apartment, right?
Yeah.
But where I was at in my mind, I hadn't even had my dog yet. Honestly, when I was still doing that, I didn't even have him until June of last year. So the whole time I was driving over the road before that, it was just me by myself. So I'm sitting there like
I'm in another
I'm s-
prison.
I'm in prison. I'm in SEG. I'm in a SEG cell right now because in SEG you literally just have the bed and the toilet and sink and your clothes or whatever you can have in SEG. Because sometimes you can't even have that. You can't have like stuff, but if you're in there being housed, you can have it. But anyways, my mind started like I'm in prison all over again. Like, yeah, I'm in a different state every single day. Like I literally traveled to like 20 states in the first year I was home. Like, yes, we can clock that part. Yes, it was
Yeah.
great. But and that's from New York to Vegas. I was everywhere. And I had never been like besides going to Alabama when I was a kid because my family is from Alabama and Michigan. Like I've traveled to a couple different places in the group homes that I was in. We used to do like house trips and stuff like that. But I felt like I was in SAG. I can't leave my truck because I have a load with me. You can't leave, you got to be tethered to your truck. You can't leave your load. You got all this
Yeah.
cargo or your goods or whatever. And so you got to park at a truck stop.
Hmm.
Don't let you have to do a reset because then you got to park for 3 whole days and just be in that truck.
Yeah.
So it's like I got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I literally was gone for 10 years away from my loved ones, my family, people dying, people, you know what I'm saying? Then came home and chose to be away from them because the career path that I took. And for me, it wasn't just harming them, it was harming me too, because I had missed them for all the years that I had already been gone.
Wow.
So now it's
I
like,
didn't even think about truck driving like that. And I'm a licensed truck driver too.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't even
now it's
think about
like,
it like that.
yeah, so when I came home and it's like I'm missing everybody's birthday party, or
Mhm.
I'm missing people. Oh my God, such and such died last night, or like, and I'm like in Tennessee, and then
Yeah,
I gotta go to Vegas, and then after Vegas I gotta go to Texas, and then I might be able to make it back to Michigan. I can't make it to nothing.
yeah.
So it's like, then you got like, say when when my best friend was graduating, at first her graduation was in a whole nother state. Like, I'm sorry, best friend, I'm not gonna be able to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably gonna be at work or whatever. Or, it's just like stuff like that. It's like even the good
Mhm.
moments. I can't even go to the good moments because I'm too busy out here driving in this truck, damn near killing myself because I'm so tired. I have been on the road allegedly, so tired, falling asleep
Yeah.
allegedly, and damn near drove off a cliff, coming down the mountains
Hmm.
and running around the curve, like driving a manual semi truck. Why did I push myself like that? Why? Because I had something to prove to myself that I don't care what you've been through, you can still do it. I don't care what they tell you you can't do because you a woman, you've been in prison, you got a murder on your. I don't care what they talking about. I did it, still doing it. Like, and whoever
That's
tells me I can't do something, I'm gonna show you something too. Let me go do something else. Let
yeah,
me go do something else because I break barriers, because I am that person that speaks out against whatever is wrong, or because I am that person that learn from their mistakes. Yeah, I fucked up one time and I ain't say something, but let me see some shit like that happen again to this day.
yeah. Let me ask you
I
this.
bet you I won't go. I bet you I wouldn't go about it the same way.
Let me ask you this. You came out. So are you on probation now? I mean
No,
parole.
yeah, I'm on parole.
Okay. And
So
go ahead.
parole, I'm sorry, I got 2 years parole, 24 months. And my parole ended up being like my parole officer, it like that wasn't none but God's handpicked person for me. Like, for real. Like, I know my granny had a hand in that one because the way my anxiety is now, like
Mhm.
I've always had real bad anxiety since I was a kid. Like I've always been standoffish. Take care of things by myself. But I always dealt with really, really high anxiety. And that was one of the reasons why I always was angry, because I never knew what this ball of fire in my gut was. I never
Yeah,
knew why my face was so red all the time and my ears was burning. That's because my anxiety is high and I'm about to have a panic attack.
yeah.
I can tell you that now because I'm grown and I did that work. But back then, it was like, what is this feeling? Make it go away. But then again, that's people was trying to label me as a bad kid, or oh, she just a rebel. She just want to fight everybody. She just an angry child. Like, I went to school in the third grade and I pierced my nose in the third grade with a thumbtack. Pierced my nose. Went to school. Got into it with my principal because she was trying to make me do some homework, and and I told her to move. Threw this lady across her office in the third grade because she wouldn't move out my way. If I was my mama, I would have whooped my ass.
Yeah.
Because who do you think you are? You know what I mean? But somebody needed to step in and really ask me to understand why I was so angry. Why is this child so strong? Why is this child so strong? Why
Yeah.
can she pick up a full grown woman and throw her across the office? No, she just an angry kid. She became the hawk because she's so angry.
What would you say to yourself right now if you as that third grader? What would you tell yourself?
It's okay. It's okay to feel how you feel right now. I know it's scary, and I know. You don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be okay. Like whatever feeling it is, if it's the ball of fire in your gut or if it's the pain in your chest, because it feel like the weight of the world is about to just come crashing in on you, or the migraine that just never goes away from like your racing thoughts and the anxieties that you feel in your everyday life. Later on, I found out it's because I have OCD and I get like manic and like certain things have to be certain ways, and I like start obsessing about it and like, but just remember, like, no matter what you've been through, you wouldn't be who you are if you wouldn't have gone through it.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that you're not alone. Like, you would never know that you're not alone unless you say something. Like, unless you say it out loud. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to like church, regular setting, not even like a group like therapy, like AA or something like that. Church, or been at like a luncheon or something, and somebody says something about what they're going through or how they're feeling, and somebody else chimes in and says, "Damn, I feel the same way." You could
Yeah.
be sitting in a room full of people that feel the exact same way you feel, but nobody would ever know unless one person starts the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I make it a point to ask people. Like, I do say, "Hey, how you doing?" But generally, I'll ask when I stop and ask someone, "How you feeling today?" When I call and check up on my people, I say, "How you feeling today?" Because I generally want to know, how do you feel? And when
Yeah.
you ask someone, "How are you feeling today?" it makes them stop and think. Like, because usually people say, "How you doing?" Be like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?" "I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm okay. How you doing?" That's it, right? But
Yeah.
when somebody says, "How you feeling today?" it make you gotta stop and think. Like, damn, well, how am I feeling today? I mean, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. You know, it's okay to acknowledge the feeling that you're feeling, but always remember to see the positive. It's all about perspectives. Like, you got to remember, like, I might be overwhelmed right now, but I've been through way more, and I know I made it through there. So I know I just got to take a second and recenter myself and remember that I got this. Like, you just got to do some good self talk,
Yeah.
because when you remember that you're not alone, then you remember all the people that came before you that made it through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you touched on a few different things, man, that a lot of people go through. Black people and feeling like that way you felt. To hear you say that you had to deal with feeling like the eyeball in the family, that black, I'm sure a lot of black people, most black people can understand that. Like, you don't even got to explain that in depth. Like, we know exactly what
Hmm.
that feels like.
I
Um,
still get treated like that. My best friend to this day tells me all the time, "You fake ass Mexican." She says that
what?
all the time. Not
What?
not not Jen, not J Cart. Gwenny. She says it to me all the time. They play with me like that. And I'm okay. I could take a joke now that I'm older and I know, levels to it. But I bet you my auntie never called me Beaner again. I bet you
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? But like, my best friend, she'll say slick shit like that all the time. "You fake ass Mexican, you want to act like you can make some tortillas or something." And I'm like, "Bitch."
Yeah.
But she, in her mind, it's like, "You a white girl," but really she know I'm super hood. So she like, "You really ain't Mexican. I don't know why. I just don't see you as a Mexican." And I'm like, "Bro, I literally just showed you my biological. I finally found my sperm donor side of the family, and they
Yeah.
all live in Texas. So I am willing to go like meet up with them. I am willing to build a relationship or see what a relationship might entail, because my sister said something to me, and my mama, my doctor mom, they brought something to my attention and said to me, you know, "Your whole life you have made family with strangers, right?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely love people. Like my sisters, like my adopted sisters, I love them like they're my blood sisters. I love them more than my blood sister because I can't stand it. Okay. So but they said to me like how she put it, my sister, how she put it. She was like, when you hold on. Hold on. Okay, so come back to that. Come
Okay.
back to that.
But so, but let me ask you this. So you willing to go see your adopted, your sperm donor's family in Texas?
Hmm.
But my question is, was that like a one night stand, or did they have a relationship?
I don't think they had no relationship, but I don't think it was a one night stand either. I think they just fucked around a couple times. But like it was to the point where like they went to the I mean the the court hearing and the judge read these are the test results. You are 99.9999% the father. And he like, that mean I'm not the daddy, right? Huh? He said it's still 1% chance, not 100%. There's still a chance that I'm not the father, right?
Asshole.
You still I look just like you dummy.
Yeah,
Like you like if you seen my prison picture, the very first prison picture I ever took and his prison picture, it's kind of creepy. It's kind of a little bit creepy, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
But I am not him.
Do you celebrate any of the Mexican holidays?
Cinco de Mayo was like
I'm
lit
saying
lit.
like really celebrate it because we black people celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
But
I know. But I asked my black friends, like, do you even know what you're celebrating? Like, do you know General Ignacio? Like, do you know who that is? No. No, you
who is
don't?
that? Who is
Oh.
that?
So I try to educate people like what is Cinco de Mayo? Why do we even celebrate a Cinco de Mayo? And it's really like the Civil War for Americans, like for the Mexicans during for the French War. And they won, but then they lost. But really it was still a win because they stood up for it. But it was like that specific general, it was towards him. And if you look it up, you will see like Cinco de Mayo is like a kind of like a Independence Day, I guess is what you would kind of claim it as for territory that the French were trying to take over. And my black friends be like, girl, you ain't Mexican. I be like, I'm urban. It's fine. I'm urban. I identify as urban. And people, what do you identify? I identify as urban. Because people could talk to me on the phone and think that I'm a black woman and then meet me in person and be like, who is this? Oh, you're Bree? I
Yeah,
didn't, I mean, you don't look, I'm sorry, you don't look like how you sound. And I'm like, thank you. So a
yeah,
little bit back to what my sister was telling me, it was like you have made strangers your friend, your if you made strangers your family your whole life, why not give your actual blood a chance? Like and like even because they're strangers technically to me because I've
exactly.
never known them. They didn't even know about us. Like the my biological sperm donor side of the family, like my uncles and my cousins and them, they didn't even know about us. And he has two older daughters than me, and then I have a older brother. All of them, I'm the baby on him with my.
With your dad, with your sperm
Hmm.
donor.
Hmm. So when I found that out, I reached out. I made an ancestry thing. I went through all this work and found them in Texas, and they're so excited to meet. Excuse me, meet me, meet my siblings. You know, they want to get. Excuse me, get to know us. I'm the only one of us that don't have any children, but they want to know me. They want to it felt so good to like answer a FaceTime call from these people and it literally looks like me on the other line. Like
Yeah.
it's just like a bunch of me's. Like everybody else, I look like I'm supposed to be on this phone.
Right.
I never felt like that the whole time I was ever at home. I started crying and everything, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I look like you guys. And they were like we all, it just like it was a thing because I never felt like that. And when my sister said that to me, my mom and my sister were there, and she was like, "You've given all of us a chance. You know, we were strangers to you, and you loved us no matter what. Why
Yeah.
not give them, a chance to, you know,
Yeah.
be
No,
there or
that's true.
not? Like give them a chance because you might end up really loving them and really like fucking with them like that. All right, sis, you right. I'm gonna go ahead and go meet them." And now I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to go down there. I'm going to Texas in November.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. You
Thank
you do you do some through everything that you've been through, you giving back, you giving back, and your shirt, that what is that? That's the Kingsman project, right? Tell me a little bit about that
you.
project.
Yeah. So the Kingsman Project is this group that I actually started becoming a part of when I came home. Um, it's like formerly incarcerated people, and it's like a group of us that not everybody is formerly incarcerated, but in some way, shape, or form, they have been touched by the incarceration system.
Yeah.
But with the amount of people that are on, because we have like a Zoom call every Sunday and like do check-ins and stuff, and we have like speakers come on and like talk with us and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's like we're here for each other. Like when I tell you, the founder called me the other day and just was like, so you ain't been on the call, checking in or anything, like, me and Tammy are worried about you or whatever. And I'm like, I appreciate, because that means to me like they do see me. They see that I'm not there. They see that my presence is absent.
Yeah.
So I felt like in that moment I couldn't do nothing but be honest. I'm not really okay right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I haven't really been okay for a while. And I'm sorry. I apologize for not reaching out to you guys, but I'm still working on that part of me. I'm still working on the part of being okay with asking for help. Because one of my biggest pet peeves is asking for help, or somebody offers to help you or do something for you and then they dangle it over your head
Yeah.
or slap you in the face with it. Like, I go without before I do that because I know what I can get on my own without any help. If I
Yeah.
just do what I gotta do, then I can get it myself. I don't need nobody else, and I won't have to pay you back. Because when anybody does something for me, I feel like I owe them, even if they be like, "Oh, you don't owe me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Ain't
No,
nothing in
I'm,
life
I'm
for
I'm the
free.
same way. I know what you're talking about.
So I just feel like if I'm not being taken advantage of, then I'm doing too much. So I gotta do things on my own. Like, people will call you when your car up and running, you got all the money, you want to come pull up. Hey, can you take me here? Can you pick me up? Can you take me there? Can you go this? Can you that? Now, when I came home, I said I wasn't doing that for everybody because that's what I was before. So when I came home, I started, people would call me like, hey, Bree, you want to go search? No, I'm good. Or I'm at work. Folks just stopped calling because every time they called to offer for me to go out or do something, I always said no.
Yeah.
So they just stopped calling. And I'm okay with that. Cause I really don't. I don't like being out. I don't like big crowds. I don't like going out around a bunch of people. I don't like being in like a bunch of noise and all that. I don't like that because my anxiety.
Yeah.
But if it's the kids, I'll be in the middle of an auditorium full of a bunch of kids and be just fine. That's the
Um,
difference.
the King's Men, if somebody wanted to be involved in that, or is that something that is organic where y'all just, how does that work? If somebody's a returning citizen that wanted to be a part of that.
Well, usually, we bring those people to we bring those people to the table because it's like a community of us that like down. It's in Minnesota. They down in Minnesota, but we are like branching out. Like there's some of us in Detroit, some of us in Minnesota. There's a couple people, and I think Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that Chicago. They're based everywhere. So in Minnesota, they started it through the drug courts. And it was like a reentry program, that a mentorship program for like people to be able to come to and then like be rehabilitated and have a good mentorship. Now it's like we all stick together and try to mentor whoever we can.
Yeah,
But there is a website. I have to link it somewhere or send it, or you can have them like contact me or something in my
yeah. When I
um
edit this, I'll put it up there.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
because I can give you the direct link for the Kingsman Project, and then like they have on there because it's like nonprofit organization, but we do things to help better our communities. Like, and then the other one I was mentioning, the steps to change. That one is for the kids. That one is like to help the kids that are misunderstood, basically. And um, Najee is the one that brought me into there, but the him and Dakota are the ones that brought me to the Kingsman, and I'm so grateful for both of those places because those both of those places are two of the passions that I have is helping people coming home doing these, you know, formerly incarcerated lifestyles, you know, rehabilitated citizen, whatever you want to, word it, you know, we're still a member of this society. Like I can't wait to start my own company so that my company is only prison reformed people. It's only ex-cons or felons. I don't care how you label it, how whatever you want to say it
mhm.
is. These are still hardworking people. When I tell you my business will flourish, because I know that even if you say that we were prisoners, our hard work and our like dedication to trying to make more money because we have so much to like catch up on and points to prove to ourselves and people and all of that. I feel like as a business owner, giving that opportunity to somebody who has worked so hard to change their lives should not, the stigma of their past or some dumb mistake that they made as a child should not define who they are as a person, as a human being, or as an adult. You know, regardless of the dumb things that I did as a kid or even as an adult, going to prison or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
not I'm not my mistakes. I
right.
learned from my mistakes. I made those mistakes to learn, to
So,
be a
so,
better me.
so you feel like prison reformed you?
I don't feel like prison reformed me. I feel like being in prison allowed myself to be reformed
Okay.
because prison is not a good place to be, but if you utilize the tools that you have in the prison system, then you can, you know, work on yourself. But prison itself, hell no, prison ain't reform me. They would have made me lose my damn mind.
Right.
Like, if it wasn't for me wanting to reform myself, it wasn't for me wanting to be a better version of myself and wanting to be, you know, an inspiration to the generation that's behind me that's like going through the same things that I've lived through or going through those moments of I can't take this no more. You know what? I just
Yeah.
really
Just
don't.
being
I
just being
can't.
fed up. Yeah.
I just, you know what? It is what it is. No, listen here. I've been there, I've done that. I've been restrained, I've been tased, I've been held at gunpoint. I don't care how you look at it. All the things that I've gone through, I wouldn't. I wouldn't know how to be who I am because, like, say for instance, like if this is a perspective for you right here. Say you take a person ain't never been through nothing. I don't care race. Most people would immediately go to a white person because they have the white privilege.
Yeah.
So if that's where your mind went, cool. Take this person that never had to grind for nothing, never had no problems in their house, never had you know what I'm saying. Take this person that had a silver spoon. Take that person, right? Take me and all the shit that I done had to go through. The hood, the lifestyles, the living in the streets, the growing up, the all everything. Take all that, mhm, and switch them. Who you think gonna survive?
Right.
They ain't gonna know what to do. They can't even tell you where to find a carton of eggs in the grocery store.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell you what the price of toilet tissue is. You can't switch those roles. You could put Trump in this position right now, and he wouldn't know how to survive. It's
Yeah.
been days, weeks that I've gone without eating. It's been days, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
how you gonna survive? What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta get it. You gotta get out the mud. You gotta get up off your damn ass. Get off your back. Because when I was depressed like that, I was on my back sleep, depressed, bundled up in the covers because I couldn't get out the bed because my mind just wasn't working like that. Like my bed had a depression in it because
Yeah.
I wouldn't get up. If you don't get your butt, get up, get up, just get up.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is take that first step. Just the first step. And every step counts. Whatever it is that you're doing in life, whether it's school, work, kids, pets, whatever, first step is key. And then just keep taking the next step. It's just the next step.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you in closing. What would you say to parents that have a kid? But you kind of spoke on that. You would what you would say to your younger self. What would you say to people that are dealing with that depression and or don't know the next move? Just in closing, what would you say to those people?
So, um, number one, just have patience. Like, it's so hard to express that, okay, right now I'm depressed and I really feel like if I take my life, I'd be happier or you would be happier. You can't have that conversation with your mama. You know what I'm saying? So you act out, you do whatever. So to the parent that feels like my child hates me, I just can't get through to them. They won't listen. They're so rebellious. He's so bad all the time. She don't never listen. She don't do the dishes. Mm-mm. Patience first, because whether it's like if you're talking, you need patience in your tone. Because coming from personal experience, if I'm going through one of those moments and you come talking to me like you got it all together and you know what I got going on, I'm gonna cut you down so fast like you was a dry rotted redwood out here about to break over. Get out of my face. I'd have told them people before, like, oh, I understand what you're going through, Uh, no, fuck you don't. You grew up with a two-parent home, uh, poodle running around outside with a white picket fence around your damn. If you don't get out my face, you don't know what I got going on right now. I'm living in this hellhole.
Right.
But the anger came out from the sadness of feeling like I've never had a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
So for the parent that still has their kids at home, or for the parent that deals with a child that's rebellious or that's fighting all the time or angry or small kids that don't listen, just a little more patience and empathy and the compassion that you use, like, to understand them, where they're coming from, why do they feel that way, why are these the first steps that they go to deal with whatever they're feeling like, and then offer. Don't be like, this what I want you to do. That ain't gonna make them do nothing. No. How can I help you? How can I help you feel better? What can I do for you to help you trust that I'm here for you? Like, give them the opportunity. Just leave an olive branch. Give them the opportunity to come back. Because being a kid that don't trust people, adults, whatever, these are foster kids though, the ones I'm talking about right now. But as a parent, but like being able to go back to your parent because they left that spot open, like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
is anything that I can do to better help you in your situation? I don't know what you got going on right now, but I do want to let you know that whatever it is, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to hurt, harm, or make you feel less than because of how you feeling. I'm here to help you and to better understand how you feel. And I want to protect you, but I also want to love on you. And if you would allow me to be that person for you, I'm always here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
leave it like it's up, the ball is in their court, because when they have that opportunity, they will come back,
They will.
because
No,
they
that's
will
good.
feel, they will feel the genuineness that came from your heart. Like, it's not like a forced script, like, what can I do? Oh, well, so I set up an appointment for you to talk to a therapist today. And also we're gonna go down and we're gonna talk to the
Yeah,
psychiatrist,
that's too
because then you
much.
can also have a conversation and maybe we can get a chemical imbalance or something. You can have some medication that can kind of calm your thoughts down. And then also we can also go to the gym and then no, no. Cause then you're gonna get a whirlwind of, I didn't ask you to do none of that. I don't want to do any of those things, and I'm not talking to nobody. Get out my face. You see,
Yeah.
because I let me come on my time, because my time might be different. I isolate when I go through things personally. I won't talk to anybody. And if you call me asking me or try to tell me or give me advice, I've done this to my mom, my adopted mom all the time, and I feel so bad after because I don't realize it when I do it. But I snap. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit right now. Like, I don't care like what I should have done, could have done. I don't care about none of that. I'm too busy beating up myself. So when like I'm already in the tornado in my head, beating
Hmm.
myself up, I got whatever I'm going through in my mind, and then I'm still save face. Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Hmm.
Everything's fine. Everything's great. Yay! But really, it's like,
Yeah.
so when they call and it's like overwhelming because you already got everything you got going on in here, and then they call and be like, okay, this. You know what? Just get off my phone because I don't even want to talk right now.
Yeah. Then they take it personal. Now you feeling bad at how you came at them.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I would never talk to my mama like that, but that's how my attitude comes off. My tone and my delivery is trash, and
Yeah.
I've worked so hard on being more, um, being more compassionate, compassionate and empathetic in my tone and my words that I speak, because never in life you like, okay, so people might not remember what you say to them in that moment. They'll always remember how you
How
made
you
them
made them
feel.
feel. Hmm.
So like I try to be that light to people that like they might not remember a conversation that we've had, but 10 years from now they could be like, oh, Bree, oh, Bree, she was
Yep.
so nice.
Hmm.
Don't remember any conversations that we've ever had. Oh, she was so sweet. Stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
she was
I
a
think
pimp.
Maya Angelou
She
said
was
that.
angry.
Yeah.
She angry. I don't want that.
Right.
Like, I was a fighter when I was a kid. I don't like telling folks that I know how to fight. I don't think that's ladylike. I don't feel like that's something that I need to be proud of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not no professional boxer. I'm not no MMA fighter. So that's not something that needs to come up in conversation. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, if that was my profession, okay, cool. But I don't think that that's something that, oh, yeah, you try me. I could definitely take you there. I don't think that's cute. I don't
Yeah.
feel like that's something that I should. But I also remember back when I was a kid and I knew, like, in order to get your respect, I know I gotta take you're gonna have to take this ass whooping because you gonna get it from these hands.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. So back then I was so disrespectfully and brutally honest. Like I didn't care whose feelings I hurt. I didn't care what repercussions came after it. I didn't whatever came to my mind is what came out my mouth. Now I try to lead my life with kindness. So
Yeah.
I still speak full, uncut, raw, unfiltered truth, but I try to say it with kindness or speak it with compassion and empathy for someone else because regardless of how I'm feeling or what my day may be, I don't know what happened in your day before you got on this phone. I
Yeah.
don't you could have had a phone call with your homegirl's best friend's baby daddy and something awful happened in the family.
Right.
And you still had to get on here and save face for the sake of this interview, but unbeknownst to me, inside you, your mind is really like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, it's like you never know what the next person might have gone through. Like you could be walking past in a grocery store and somebody accidentally bump you, and excuse me, and they start freaking out. But really, you didn't see the headphone in their ear that was telling them that their wife is cheating on them.
Yeah. No,
You know
that's
what
real.
I'm saying? And you just got attacked because you're in that moment with that person, but the person that they really wanted to give that energy to, they can't.
Yeah.
So
Let
like
me
you
ask
just
you.
got to remember in the midst of those moments of people's frustrations, remember that you could be the light in the world to change the situation, deter or deflect, or what's that word, to down talk an aggressive or a bad situation. You can be the de-escalator
Yeah.
because it's all about perspective. If I come into a situation, somebody talking to me reckless, I'm reformed. I mean, I'm changed, but I ain't all the way changed. So I'm gonna give you a chance to check your tone or check your who you talk to, whatever. But I can still make you change the way you talking to me just by acknowledging that you're not okay.
Yeah.
I
Um.
see that you're frustrated right now, and I just really appreciate that you give me the chance to change that for you. And they be like, you know what, my bad. It wasn't even you. I had whatever, and then it'd be a whole misunderstanding for no reason, but you just changed it
Yeah.
instantly, just like that.
Speaking of change, steps to change for people with the young people. How do people get in contact with you with that nonprofit?
So they're both of them people are actually on TikTok. I actually pin it. And each person in those groups, like um Najee, if you're in the Detroit area or anything like that, he's actually got a restaurant in Sterling Heights, Shelby Township, whatever which one it's on Ryan and 15 Mile, Pancho Villa's Mexican restaurant, authentic Mexican restaurant. And this man, he did time in the feds on
Okay.
RICO charges and came home, and he still kept his restaurant, and he is a hardworking man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And his passion is to help these kids so they don't end up in the streets or end up in the prison system like he did. So when I get in touch with these kind of people, those are the ones that I try to stay in tune with, because that's the venue I'm going towards. So like if you try to get in touch with Steps to Change, they are on TikTok and
Okay.
Facebook.
Not,
It
once this is edited, I'll put it in there when you give me the links. Um,
Okay.
well,
And the same thing with the Kingsman Project too. But like each person in the Kingsman Project, like the first uh comment that you read, the YH whatever one, I can't remember it, all the acronyms or whatever, but he's actually, I pinned a post on my TikTok in regards to something that he had going on. And there he is,
okay.
YH8. Yep, that's him right there. Terry Dumper, he's got nonprofits and businesses that he does with kids and stuff. Andre, he does things out here in the city of Detroit with the youth. Like even though we've been through incarceration, like the kids is where we go to because we know that's where we got to start. Like
Yeah. Yep.
getting to the kids before they get to where we went to, like going too far past, and we got to be able to show them that there's a different way. We got to be able to acknowledge that, okay, y'all situation might not be the best, but here's a few different ways that you can make it out of there. Like, you don't have to
Yeah,
be like everybody else. You don't have to be like me,
right.
because y'all don't
Malcolm
have to
X.
make no examples out of nobody else. I can tell you my story, and you ain't got to be like me. I want you to be better than me.
Yeah, Malcolm X said, what was his quote? Oh, he said it's easier to change children than to change broken men, or something like that. Yeah. Um,
Or he
but
can't teach an old dog new tricks. You got to
yeah,
catch them while
exactly.
they puppies.
But yes, Bree, the way that you worded that about the young people, I got a really good friend of mine who it kind of is estranged from his daughter. She's 20. And I don't, I tell him my advice for him was the same thing I used for when I was going through something with my daughter. It was to pray about it, put it in God's hands, and really have faith and give that child back to God, because that's God's child first. Y'all just help bring that child here, but that's God's child. And but the way you put it as a practical way of dealing with your kids, I'm gonna definitely make sure he hears this. He'll probably watch it anyway. But
But
I like how you put
also
that.
in regards to that, when it comes to kids and trying to understand them, also remember, have you done something wrong as well? And make sure that you acknowledge that you're wrong. Even though you're the parent, you can say, listen, baby, I apologize. I was wrong for that. Because forgiveness is key in a child's upbringing too. Like, forgiveness and resentment and all that stuff in hand in hand. So like, if I'm holding on to resentment towards my mother, it's because I hadn't forgiven her for the shit that I had gone through as a kid.
Yeah,
Or if like you asked me, has she ever even admitted or apologized to you for whatever? Honestly, technically, no. She hasn't specifically apologized for the specificities of the situations. No, she hasn't. But she has said, I'm sorry for hurting you, you
yeah,
know. And I take it, because for her to even acknowledge that she was wrong for me, it's three parts to an apology. You acknowledge it, you say that you're sorry, but you also have to show me that. You have to
yeah,
put that effort in to make sure that that's actually really what you was talking about. But with you is like, or with the other kids, it doesn't necessarily have to be traumatic or the worst neglect or abuse that you've ever had in your entire life. No, something simple. Or, like maybe you embarrassed your child out in public or whatever, and they just like don't want to talk right now. Whatever. Just
yeah,
like, make sure whatever wrongdoings that you've done as a parent, whether you want to admit it or not to yourself, saying it to your child makes them feel seen, makes
yeah,
them feel like you get why they felt the way that they felt when they did, whatever feeling that was,
yeah,
generally speaking. Like, if I can admit as your parent, because I'm always right, I don't care. You do as I say, not as I do, As your
yeah,
parent, I can come to you and humbly say, I apologize. I
yeah.
really hope you could forgive me for this.
That goes a long
That's
way.
that's not just a learning lesson for the parent, but it's also one for the child, to show them it's okay to be wrong, and this is how you handle it. And it's okay to love somebody and hurt someone as long as you ask for forgiveness and you learn from that mistake.
Yeah,
Like, because we're human and we're not gonna be perfect. And you're gonna disappoint someone, and someone is gonna disappoint you and hurt you, and vice versa. But to get through those moments, it's accountability and it's forgiveness. And then you have to work on those other things on your own. What you gonna
well,
do to change it?
Bree, you've been through a lot, man, and I see I don't know the person, but just hearing you, I see that you've done the work. I remember I talked to you. We met a couple days ago, but I saw you out for a walk with the dog, and you was just in your zen, going to Eastern
Yeah.
Market, and just I'm proud of you. Um,
Thank you.
I see great things for you. Keep going. Don't, this has become a part of your purpose. And with purpose, you ain't gonna work a day in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we've been on here 2.5 hours and you just flowing. So I just want to tell
It
you
don't
that,
even feel like that. Oh my God.
yeah, I'm praying for you. I appreciate you coming on the show. I consider you as a friend. I want to thank everybody that watched the show. Remember to like, subscribe, share, but also,
Thank
Bree,
you.
in closing, how can people? I don't know if you got a foundation, anything you're doing right now where people can actually get in touch with you personally.
No, I mean I don't have anything yet. I do have
Social
some
media.
things in the works, but my yeah, I was gonna say I don't have any foundations, but I do have my social media. I am on TikTok and Facebook, Snapchat too, but you know how that goes. But Breezy Creations, Breezy dot creations on TikTok and
Spell that real
Bree
quick.
Grown BREIZY dot CREATIONS. That's my TikTok and then my
Bree,
Facebook, huh?
Bree, spell that again. That was too fast.
Okay, sorry about that. BREIZY
Yep.
dot creations.
Okay. D- Dot creations.
Uh-huh.
And that is
Creations is
TikTok.
just spelled regular. Yeah, that
Okay.
one's TikTok, and then or Lemonade, that one too. But the Facebook one is Bree Grown Woman, BREI, and then the last name on there is capital G and then ROWN. Um woman, grown woman is all one word. So W capital WOMAN.
Yeah, and I have that one, so I'll link that as well.
Okay.
Well, most
I
definitely, I
appreciate you.
appreciate you. Your story is amazing, and you got a lot of support. You know,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I look forward to hearing from people and anybody watching, anybody at home, any kids, any, problems with that type of stuff or formerly incarcerated and going through it or just dealing with mental health, period. Dealing with, cause I mean, I got a whole service animal now because of my emotional and mental stability. Like my anxiety was too high around people. I needed to find something that would keep me sane. So I don't know if you guys seen him or not, but there's King. He literally has not left my side since I sat down right here. So
wow.
um he'll be a year old June 29th. But I just want to tell y'all, for those of you who are watching, who this story has either touched you personally, you've been through something similar, or you know someone going through it. Just remember, like, we're not alone in any of these things, whether it's formerly incarceration, juvenile, kids going through it, being a parent. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't have any kids, because I personally haven't, but I've definitely been a parent to a lot of kids, whether it was my nieces, nephews, godchildren, whatever. So just remember, you know, each step counts, y'all. No matter which one it is, just make sure it's the one going forward.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, okay. So I'm gonna put you. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I'm gonna put you
Yes, thank you so
backstage.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna put you backstage for a minute and conclude this, and then just hang on. So I want to make sure everything download.
Okay.
All right. Well, most definitely, y'all. I appreciate everybody that came into the show. Um, her story is amazing, and I'm sure that she inspired people. This story, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna edit it, and add everything that's necessary for people to get in contact with her. But if you got anything, if you need anything sooner than that, make sure you inbox me. I appreciate y'all being on the show. Keep being a blessing and also keep disrupting. We out. Peace.